pains of fellow Nigerians. You dey fly private jet, insecurity no be your problem. Nigerians when they travel by road, some of them they face their sentence. Any Oriyo, Odile, Shagam, Ore, Bini, make you tell Mr. President, hunger day, you still want to make them cooperate. If there's you soldiers press them, remove out of subsidy, a bold step they call it. I don't say, since he removed subsidy, Lagos Calabar Coastal Road, 4.9 billion per kilometer, 700 kilometers. When normal road, inside town, no get even Dave, my, don't do us, Mago, judiciary is nice, state of innocence, inside River State. Graduate, grab arm, definition of this government. Ababio, Natasha, I go soon shoot in a movie. Wait for she, tell your papa hard, tell your papa, she, tell your papa people they die, tell your papa, she, this one don't pass jaga, yama, wuru, ojoro, mago. Where the mago dance? Where the wuru dance? Where the mago dance? Cheyi, Alpha, Omo, Emiloko. You say your papa not the best president. Okay, after 2 years, tell me what your papa don't do. Hunger won't kill us. To buy food, na luxury. Momo, Eja, Iresi, Ewa, Issue, Gari, Indomie, spaghetti. People they jump inside lagoon, they ash ship. Very wicked policy, anti-people's policy. Country hard, people they die. Hunger day, your papa no try. We are not against your father. If your papa do well, we go praise him. If you no do well, we go yarn him. To buy food, na luxury. Electricity, na luxury. Your papa don't increase tariff. Even the lights we no see. To on AC, na luxury. Each one kill us for the country. To buy data, na luxury. Telecommunication companies coordinate with the government. Banking industry coordinate with the government to frustrate Nigerians. This na total wickedness. Your papa no be the best president. To buy cloth wear na luxury. One jeans 40k, t-shirt 25k. Ozu go, Ozu come, body no be firewood. Parent work every day, there's still no fee pay school fees. Inflation for the nation, Nigerians no fee function.
Shout out to very dark black man. Continue to do what you do best. I hear you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome to the Movement Radio. This is the alternative radio station dedicated to education and enlightenment of the Nigerian mind. Basically, here we plant the seed and watch it grow. That is our job here at the Movement Radio. We enlighten the Nigerian mind. Welcome to the Movement Radio. Today we were going to be very short. We will not be here for long, but we just want to touch on a few things that have been in circulation or in the news for a while. We want to first of all apologize for our inability to come up with several of the shows that we have previously advertised. This is due to some time constraint issues that we were not able to adequately handle. But we're here today. We want to talk about the Nigerian elite, which is one of the primary focus of our radio station. Is we have diagnosed the Nigerian problem in three categories. We call it: one is the collective silence, second is the enemies within, and the third is the Nigerian elite, which include those of you listening to me right now. And again, we will slightly focus on the Nigerian elite. And our topic today would basically deal with the concept of the Nigerian elite being animals in human skins. That's what they are. A popular musician has once put this in a song whereby he sang about animals in human skin. The Nigerian elite would analyze, criticize, condemn, cry, complain about everything, but would never see himself as part of the Nigerian problem. And again, they have continued as the big men are destroying the country. The Nigerian elite are playing their role, the role they're used to playing, which is the cheerleaders' role. And we are here to speak against that and put a mirror in their front and make them see themselves. We are going to start today's show basically, first of all, by highlighting how we Nigerians, elites, how we misconstrue our problems, how we lie to ourselves, we pretend, how we do all these crazy things that we do, and yet we expect a change. We, as long as we have someone to blame, we feel the problem has been solved. Anyway, before I show you several, I've got several videos on the pipeline to show you today. Before my time runs out regarding this program, but first I want to talk about Nigerians and the general outlook, and I'm going to take an excerpt from the imperatives of the Nigerian Revolution by Dele Farotimi. First of all, I want to wish Brother Dele Farotimi a very happy birthday. Today is his birthday. I want to add my own voice to put a prayer before you that may God continue to bless you, brother. You're doing a great job. You're not keeping quiet. Your voice is fighting the principalities and the enemies that strangle these countries, that hold the people in bondage and put the African people, the Nigerian people, in a very precarious situation. I want to wish you a very happy birthday. May God continue to bless you. God continue to protect you. God continue to grant you strength, and God put His umbrella over you, Dele Farotimi. So I want to start today's show by just reading an excerpt from his book, The Imperative of the Nigerian Revolution. Yeah, The Imperative of the Nigerian Revolution. Um, Nigerians have seen constant agitation to succeed to office, but however, um, hold on, make sure I turn these off totally off. Yeah, Nigerians have seen. Let me go back to the excerpt of his book. Just a paragraph I want to read. That Nigerians have seen constant agitation to succeed to office, but there has never been any constant agitation to change the society for the better or to change the trajectory of the nation itself and prepare it for life in this new age. The rather unfortunate consequence of this constant power play we see has been the liberalization of corrupt practices in Nigeria. That's one. Two, the normalization of the same practices. And three, the complete subjectivization of the truth. Three key points in that statement. One, and it has already started, the political juggernaut have started realigning, joining parties, and in the deception and the lies that they keep telling each other that we are in a democracy, lining up where someone dictates what the result would be. The people's votes don't count, but the Nigerians don't see that lie. They continue to deceive themselves that yes, we do have a democracy, which is not true. We don't have a democracy. We don't have anything that resembles a democracy. What we have is a permanent coup d'etat by the ruling elites against the masses. So that's one key fact. And they've started that realigning, and that takes part of that first aspect of that statement, whereby all we do is we liberalize corrupt practices. What is economic sabotage, treason? We call it democracy. We call it politics. These are the lies we tell each other every day. And you go on social media, you see the so like to hear themselves talk, analyzing and thinking, oh, that is politics. For example, the the River State incident where the president suddenly removes an elected governor, although he rigged the election, but at least in their deceptive way, still their elected governor, in contravening the laws of their own constitution. This in itself, it's an immediate impeachable offense. But of course, they have a rubber stamp Senate that kind of approve this. And Nigerians are all see it as politics. Well, it's just Tinubu spreading his wings. We saw what happened in Edo State during the last election. We saw what happened in Anambra State, or is it Abia State, and of course what's going to happen in those states and several other states. We've seen the political criminals preparing for 2027 to rubber stamp themselves on the people. And yet the elites are on social media debating and arguing on behalf of APC, arguing on behalf of PDP, and arguing on behalf of Labour Party, all of which all are all the same, political criminals. So, and then during this liberalization, I call it liberalization of corrupt practices, we begin to normalize the same abnormal practices as being normal. Well, it's just politics. That's normalizing it. That is insane. That just doesn't make any sense. And then to make matters worse is the complete subjectifying of the truth, where the truth just doesn't matter anymore, which is also what Dele Farotimi talked about in his weekly sermon, and we will be playing that. Also, we will touch on the issue of the Burkina Faso strongman and how the United States is attempting to eliminate him the same way they eliminate Lumumba of Zaire, the same way they eliminated Thomas Sankara, and the same way they eliminated Muammar Gaddafi on the guide that the young man, Ibrahim Traore, the Captain Ibrahim Traore, is not using his own country's gold well. Well, the West are now the ones that wants to tell us Africans how to use our God-given resources. So he's now an enemy. They're probably upset his closeness to the Russians or the Chinese or whichever one, and so they want to take him out like they take out every good leaders that Africa tend to emerge from that continent. They want to take him out, and the whole world has been speaking against this. The entire internet is agog regarding the need to protect Captain Ibrahim Traore. He's doing good for his people. His people loves him. And the criminals that we have in Nigeria that they need to help us take out, they don't do that because those are their house Negroes. Those are the ones, they are the puppet masters. Those are the ones that pull the strings in order to take and steal all the resources that belongs to Africa. But we have not seen much of our so-called elites, particularly those abroad, discuss this issue in the strong fashion that it deserves. That Captain Ibrahim Traore is an African hero. He makes the black man proud, and we're going to show a few videos about him also. We don't have much time to spend today. We have missed several shows in the last 2 or 3 weeks. We schedule a show and then we don't come on here. We don't hear the show. But the good news is that our radio station, the Movement radio station, is running 24/7. There are constant important programs that runs on that station, programs that enlighten the minds, programs that educate, programs that radicalizes, programs that is meant to plant the seed for the future generation so that the destiny of Africa would change. The movement radio is just Google the movement radio, you'll see a site. Just listen to our programs. We've got interesting books being read, several books: Animal Farm, Things Fall Apart, Dele Ogun's The Fatherless Children, Dele Farotimi's books. We've got several things going on the movement radio where we run shows like the shows that are enlightening and promote the mind of the African, that is taking them away from their subjective stupidity. It is Martin Luther King that says that there's nothing more dangerous in this world that than conscientious, sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. And the African elite, the Nigerian elite, those that really exhibit this sincere ignorance. The people at home exhibit sincere ignorance. A few of them abroad does that too. But this conscientious stupidity is what we are trying to change. Our approach to this is not apologetic. We don't want people. You can call in, you can join us to discuss, but be careful when you call in or when you join us. If you are one of those house Negroes that wants to propagate or promote negativity on the African mind, on the African future, on the African pain, we will shut you down, we will insult you, we will bring you down. We will call a spade here. We don't joke around with that. And so we are not one of your usual talk stations where you go, yeah, you fabricate lies, propagate lies, propagate garbage, continue to sedate the people. We've been sedated for the past 100 years, 400 years of slavery, 100 years of colonization, and neo-colonization still going on. We are still being sedated. Our people are still asleep. I was still pretending to be asleep. We are done with all that. In the words of Majek Fashek, it's been so long and it's been too long. We're sick and tired of that nonsense, and we have to put a stop to it. Anyway, enjoy our show if you can. We're different. We are very vocal. We are very non-apologetic in the way we approach issues, and we're just here to educate and enlighten the mind so that we can turn sheep to lions and the African continent can be a better place to live. Many house Negroes abroad, so the many black men they're basically slaves for the system or for the puppet masters. The African continent is nothing but a slave farm that is being run by slave managers, and that's what they are, that's who they are. And we totally are against this, and yeah, we apologize if we don't give you a specific schedule. We come out only when we have the time to do that. We are very busy. We have so many things we're doing, but our radio station runs 24/7. Google it, the Movement Radio, the Movement Public Radio. Google it. You can listen to several shows, several important books, several readings. We don't do news. We don't do news. We do bottom lines, and we do things that can progress or improve a society. That's all we are here for. So back to today's concept. Let me just do a small monologue before I run through, take a little break and run through a few videos with you. The Nigerian elite is an animal in human skin, and if you live abroad or you are barely educated, you are a Nigerian elite. And I'm not talking of the political elite, I'm talking about the ordinary Nigerian who like to speak a lot of grammar, like to talk about other countries like England, America, Russia, Japan, but would not talk about the big elephant in their own country, how their homeland is being destroyed, and how the Nigerian elite stands behind the Nigerian big man, is next in line to the Nigerian big man. And who is the Nigerian big man? The Nigerian big man are those criminals that are in charge of the political structure of that country. Now, the country has been totally hijacked. It's those who have hijacked it are doing a very good job in its total destruction and the annihilation of their own homeland. The forces of Islamofascism are very strong, and they're full area. They have hijacked all aspects of social and political, judicial, and military portion of the country. And the Nigerian elites are backing them fully, cheering them on to destruction of their own homeland. Social media is the only avenue left for positive minds to stop this assailant of freedom from a permanent enslavement of the most populous black nation in the world. The news has not improved. It's tyranny after tyranny daily. The arrest and lockup continues. The killings continues in Plateau, Benue, Edo, and the list of bodies keeps piling. And yet, on the internet, what the Nigerian elite talks about is who is a Fulani, what is a Fulani, where are the cows. They hold spanners on their various platforms to discuss the most mundane issues related to their people's pain. If it's not scandalous or graphic or something childish, they won't see them talk about it. They act as if they are helpless, as God has created them never to be able to solve their own problems. Um, the arrest and lockup continues, and the killings continues, which is an issue. And there's a bigger issue coming up down the line, which we are afraid of, and we are trying to stop. You know, they speak big grammars, like I said. They analyze foreign issues to the details. They analyze foreign issues to the details, but yet are blind to see or talk about the various lives that have been deleted every day in their own homeland. They can't offer solution, but they want to sound intelligent. They are good at gaslighting. They're good at spinning the truth, misleading the fact, muddling the water, and totally rejecting the obvious fact that envelopes them. They have had their head in the sand like an ostrich for so long. They don't want the issues that confront us to be discussed objectively. They are in denials of truth and facts, and they are the Nigerian elite on social media. They deny of facts. There is injustice in the land, but we should not talk about it. Let us push it under the carpet and just get along, make the country, so that we don't make the country look bad. We are demarketing the country, but the criminals that have hijacked the country are not demarketing the country. So the movement radio believes we must deal with it. The injustice, the abuse, the murders, the looting, the excessive privilege of some over others. We must call them out and hold them accountable. We must stop the impunity, the abuse of the law, the tyranny, and the Nigerian elites that are standing back or looking away. They are all animals in human skin. Nigeria is under attack. There must be a coalition of strong minds to salvage Nigeria. The movement radio is searching for strong minds while calling out our elites as animals. We're gonna take a little short break. We would yeah, we 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 have so much we're gonna share with you for today. And out of that long list of things, we're gonna start with some pretty relaxed thing. We after all, we're a radio station. We into music, and we let music do a few of our voices, a few of our talk for us. Just stay tuned, enjoy some of our clips. We're gonna post a link for those who, if they're watching and they want to join, they want to contribute. But please, 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 if you are a negative person, this is not the place for you. You will regret calling in. You'll regret showing up here, because we will put you in your place, and we will not we will not be apologetic about it. So that's the way that goes. Welcome again to the Movement Radio, wherever you are. We have a few clips, a few things we want to share with you. We would show you a few videos, and so welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, let's do some little music while this is going on.
But do my shima, I'ma get be my shima. I don't put my weight in my. Say make a liver, I'm a waiting, oh, banana winner. Wait it on man to sinner. Oh baby, pull up in my bima. You know promise and in a wait, oh no. Ooh, people, when I relate, oh, I said the bad just take baby. I'm a you late, oh. I say wait people, when say we late, oh. I said the bad just take baby. When I be met, oh. I got to love for me. I got to love. Chad Malin ain't no ghost writer. How I they give them better lamba? Pull my weight ain't no post either. Oluwa too much, oh. Oluwa too much, oh. Man just they ask for you see love on me. Baba you too much, oh. Man still they ask for you to love. Ooh, people.
The names of the Our next story is about corruption. This is a global problem that plagues a number. Countries with some more than others. Among those at the top of the list is Nigeria. Nigeria is Africa's most populous nation. It's said to be Africa's biggest economy as well, but it has now slipped to fourth place. This slide is often linked to President Bola Tinubu. his economic policies, and his reputation for corruption. Tinubu recently featured on a list. The list. Our next story is about corruption. This is a global problem. It plagues a number of countries, but some more than others. Among those at the top of the list is Nigeria. Nigeria is Africa's most populous nation. It used to be Africa's biggest economy as well, but it has now slipped to fourth place. This slide is often linked to President Bola Tinubu, his economic policies, and his reputation for corruption. Tinubu recently featured on a list, the list of the most corrupt leaders in the world. The winner was former Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. He was followed by Kenya's William Ruto. But Tinubu made the top five. Now, I must clarify here that these rankings were sourced from the public. There wasn't a scientific formula involved. It was about public perception. And Tinubu is perceived to be extremely corrupt. So is his government. There are a number of reasons for this. Let me show you some of the latest examples, starting with the government. Nigeria has an anti-corruption agency. It is called the EFCC, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. This is Nigeria's watchdog. Its job is to tackle corruption, and technically they are doing that, but at home. Let's show you today's major headline. The EFCC has detained 10 of its own over some missing items. This statement was put out by the agency. You'll notice that they said some operational items could not be accounted for. Okay, that sounds like some missing equipment. But then the Nigerian press dug a little deeper, and it turns out that the operational items were jewelry and cash worth $350,000 to $400,000. What operations were they pulling off with all that jewelry? 10 EFCC officers were detained in Lagos. They are apparently answering questions. That is all that the commission has revealed. They haven't told the public who the corrupt officers are. I know it's innocent until proven guilty, but the very same commission usually does not follow this. They happily share the names of under trials, but suddenly the agency is shy about revealing the names of its own officers. And this has been quite a bad week for them. They were forced to make another announcement on Monday, telling the people that 27 other officers had been dismissed for fraudulent activities and misconduct. This is not a great look for Nigeria's anti-graft watchdog, and definitely not a good look for the Tinubu government. Bola Tinubu is 70 years old. He's been around for a while. He's a seasoned politician. So as you would expect, he has been linked to a number of scandals over the decades. One of the worst is drug dealing. Tinubu allegedly held money from drug trafficking in his accounts. This was according to Tinubu, of course, never accepted the charges, but he did pay out a settlement worth $460,000. Now, these charges are old. No final verdict was reached. So let's put them aside for now. After all, people can supposedly change. So what has Tinubu been up to recently since he became president? Well, he was caught up in a fake diploma scandal for a while. There were allegedly some errors in his college certificate. Okay, mistakes happen, moving on. Then there was a major scandal involving a highway. Tinubu issued a $13 billion government contract to a company co-owned by his son. Tinubu is quite the caring father, apparently, but alas, most people do not see that. That is why he made it to the top 5 in the Corrupt Person of the Year award. The perception is quite prevalent, and reports say that he is quite vexed. He's even hired American lobbyists to clean up his image. He's reportedly paying them $2.7 million, though I wonder, is he paying from his own pocket or Nigeria's treasury? I suppose we'll find out eventually.
See, you get wetin dey really worry us Nigerians. Wait, make I explain. Hello, explorers. This might just be the only pedestrian bridge in Edo State, and it's right in front of University of Benin main gate. The bridge was completed in 2019 under the administration of former Governor Obaseki, and it wasn't built for aesthetics. It was a necessity to reduce the fatal accidents involving students. Now, in July 2015, according to the Nigerian Observer, Rita Awele, an 18-year-old 200-level philosophy student, was tragically struck by a military
Welcome to the Movement Radio. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. And we're here enlightening the mind. Okay, yes, we're moving on. We have got some more interesting videos we want to share with you, and we'll be pushing them on slowly and gradually. We don't have much time to spend today. We will also be sharing with you this is a song dedicated to Ibrahim Shauri by a musician.
The strong guiding hand. The winds of change are blowing strong. Ibrahim Dele, we've waited so long. With courage, with faith, you lead the fight. Ibrahim Dele, for freedom and rights. Ibrahim Dele, Ibrahim Dele, son of the land, a soldier so brave. Ibrahim Dele, Ibrahim Dele, the people rise, we stand by your way. The road is tough, but you stand. Oh, Ibrahim Dele, Ibrahim Dele, the people chanting it. The streets of Waka, their name is loud. Ibrahim Dele, standing tall and proud. You carry the hope, you fight for the land. Ibrahim Dele, with a strong guiding hand. The winds of change are blowing strong. Ibrahim Dele, we've waited so long. With courage, with faith, you lead the fight. Ibrahim Dele, for freedom and rights. Ibrahim Dele, Ibrahim Dele, son of the land, a soldier so brave. Ibrahim Dele, Ibrahim Dele, the people rise, we stand by your way. The road is tough, but you stand.
Welcome to the Movement Radio. We continue to show you interesting aspects, music, and videos. Um,
Tinubu, Mr. President, as a concerned citizen, me, Peter, for Nigeria, allow me to give you small advice when no politician around you will ever give you. President Tinubu, you see all this energy and strategy where you they invest into trying to bring all politicians, governors, political godfathers to defect into APC to help you to win a re-election in 2027. All of this energy where una dey put into trying to convert Nigeria into a one-party state, Mr. President, if you invest just 50% of that energy and time into making the lives of Nigerians better, to make economy better, bring down inflation, lower cost of living, end insecurity, give Nigerians constant life, President Tinubu, you no go need all those governors. You no go need them. Because, Mr. President, unfortunately, you may be able to buy the support of governors, but you cannot buy the organic love and support of the people. President Tinubu, forget all this Yoruba Ronu APC boys where they social media. Some people go follow you for sentiments. Some go follow you based on waiting they won't chop. But you see, they call love and support of the people. If he didn't day, he didn't day. And any power that is gotten outside the people will become your own albatross, because power must come from the people. President Tinubu, and any power where you force upon yourself, where you force yourself upon the people, it will only destroy the country even more. And Mr. President, power is transient. If you don't leave power, power will leave you. See PDP now. Shebi, you been the governor of Lagos when PDP been there in power. Out of 36 states, they been get more than 25 governors. Today, where PDP, where power. They even boast, say they go rule Nigeria for about 50 or 60 years. Today, how far? Shebi APC self don't start. President Tinubu, make I ask question. If he's sure for APC for 20... election. Now say because you know you have the capacity and competence to rule this country again, and say you know say you have performed so to make economy better, bring down inflation, lower cost of living, end insecurity, give Nigerians constant life. President Tinubu, you no go need all those governors. You no go need them. Because, Mr. President, unfortunately, you may be able to buy the support of governors, but you cannot buy the organic love and support of the people. President Tinubu, forget all this Yoruba Ronu APC boys where they social media. Some people go follow you for sentiments. Some go follow you based on waiting they won't chop. But you see, they call love and support of the people. If he didn't day, he didn't day. And any power that is gotten outside the people will become your own albatross, because power must come from the people. President Tinubu, and any power where you force upon yourself, where you force yourself upon the people, it will only destroy the country even more. And Mr. President, power is transient. If you don't leave power, power will leave you. See PDP now. Shebi, you been the governor of Lagos when PDP been there in power. Out of 36 states, they been get more than 25 governors. Today, where PDP, where power. They even boast, say they go rule Nigeria for about 50 or 60 years. Today, how far? Shebi APC self don't start. President Tinubu, make I ask question. If he's sure for APC for 2027, share the confidence we will not get about 2027 election. Now say because you know you have the capacity and competence to rule this country again, and share you know say you have performed so well that Nigerians are in support of you to become president for a second term. Or with confidence now say you have hope in a criminal INEC and a corrupt Nigerian judiciary. And then tomorrow INEC will come and come, they talk say they want to begin voting without PVC. See INEC, money as they shake. INEC will be the only political organization whenever officially declared to defect to APC. And that is because they know say they no go fit do. If not, they are already the electoral arm of the APC. Mr. President, power is transient. If you not leave power, power will leave you. Officially, they said Mr. President is 73 years old. You have been former senator, former governor, former APC national leader. Your wife 3 times senator. Mr. President, at one point where we ourselves won't talk, say this country that has given you opportunity to do so much and become so much, make you give Nigeria the opportunity to move forward. Say all these young children every day, they social media, with they cry, with they beg. Nothing else we are demanding for than let the country just be good for people to live. At what point will you begin to factor the welfare of Nigerians into your actions and political calculations? Nigerians, that is why I want to ask una the question. All of una, they see what thing they go on. The people will be your oppressors and your rulers. They know they pretend about 2027. Everything where you they see they go on is a careful plan. I want to ask, if politicians don't already the perfect plan APC for 2027, what is your own plan for 2027? What will be the plan of we as Nigerians? What is our own agenda? On this social media, all of us one day just they use vibes and inshallah they discuss things when no concern us. Now, so we want to enter 2027. It's like we want to renew our subscription for premium shaggy because we have another 4 years of lamentation. Oh. All this movement of governor where you they see governor defect to APC, there is no other reason. The reason no they had. The more governors are in the ruling party, the easier it is for you to rig elections. Simple. So nobody should be pretending like say we don't know. All this one when we quiet. You see what thing they go on for River State. You they see Kano. You they see Delta don't join them. The plan not be to win with overwhelming majority. You know, just be able to break opposition enough, get small votes and add and declare yourself winner. And all of us they pretend like say we don't know. Look at River State. Where one person feed post say na him make another person governor, and nobody is paying attention to fix that criminal system where give you opportunity to fit make governor. So the whole of Rivers people know sabi pick governor. My people, all of us between now and 2027 we get one assignment. Not leave the fight for one person or one group of persons. They message me, they tell me, Peter, be careful, be careful. No, everybody should decide to speak for our own liberty. INEC is the difference between Nigeria of today and a better Nigeria. Any post where you they post, just they add fix INEC, electoral reform. If we don't get confidence, so we fit fix INEC. What thing make us believe that we fit change Nigeria? The thing when APC they use now INEC. So now then you must mount. It is either we go down National Assembly now or we go later. What thing that they do now citizen sensitization. We must fix electoral system before 2027. It must be mandatory for electronic transmission of results. You must protect your INEC server. You must ensure that polling unit results are transmitted directly, and all of you should have access to that server. If not, just they prepare your renewed subscription for premium shaggy. Nigerians, stop pretending to be asleep. Shine your eye. Your oppressors are not pretending. Why are you pretending to not know what is going on? May God help Nigeria. My name is Peter for Nigeria.
Absolutely, my people. Peter for Nigeria has spoken again. And the thing that I must say is that we must all understand is that for you to be able to do something for the people, you need to care for the people. You need to have empathy for the people. You need to have love for the people. You need to have sympathy for the people. And that's absolutely something that Tinubu does not have for the people. Tinubu is almost like someone who is on a revenge mission, like someone whom life had treated him so badly that even after he had been able to escape from how bad life was before, he has not really forgiven either the people around him or the country or whatever it is that made that circumstances the way it is. This is someone that literally nobody knows his origin, nobody knows where he's from, who are his childhood parents, who really his parents are. There are a lot of different stories about. So you don't know what he's angry at Nigeria for, and he's going at Nigeria and really doing a lot of things. So otherwise, someone who has empathy will be someone who's okay, let me do this thing for the people. And like what Peter for Nigeria is trying to say is that energy you're putting to getting politicians and whatever, put it in delivering. I've said this before. I said Nigerians will win, so even though we did not vote for him, but he hasn't given anybody any situation for anybody to be able to say, even though. It's all like, oh no, how bad things has been. And the easiest people, of course, to always buy are politicians, because politicians, a lot of them do have skeletons in their cupboard. They've done a lot of things that they shouldn't have done, either looting money, one thing or the other. And the thing about life is that when you do anything crime, it doesn't stay hidden. Don't ever think that you have anything that is hidden that nobody will know. It's a lie. Except it's something that is you alone that did it alone and alone, that kind of thing. Otherwise, it will go around. Especially when it comes to something like stealing money, looting money, or whatever. It has a way of going down. And this is part of the things that are being used against some of these politicians. And that's why when people say, oh, somebody has fallen, they begin to feel. You look at Okowa. Okowa has a EFCC carrying case matter. They carry him for head. They go after him. So what do you expect? That you expect you to be able to stand and do this? Easy now. Now that he has entered the APC, and he seems to be forgiving. Nobody will remember that. Nobody will remember that, or EFCC will not remember that he has a case anymore. Just like we have with Akpabio. Kosi Akpabio also has EFCC case that is there, and all of a sudden he was entered, became Senate president, and those things have been forgotten. So it needs sympathy. Dey for teenage. The one that they ask all this, he cannot give you, he cannot deliver. Probably didn't know what empathy was growing up, and so he can't give anybody empathy. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Yeah, welcome. If you're watching us, this is the Movement Radio. We're just here to educate, enlighten the minds of Nigerian in the hope that proper education will be able to liberate the people from the bondage that they find themselves in. We continue to, through videos, information, education, and what have you. Yeah.
EFCC to oppress. They posted this morning. So let's quickly watch so that you people understand what I've been saying about EFCC.
The 29th of January this year, at about 6:30 p.m., my wife came up to my room and said there are some gentlemen that knocked and just walked into the room. Dark suited, walked into the door. They want to see me. They said I'm expecting them. I came downstairs with my jalabia, no hat, and flip flop. And they said they are from the EFCC. They've come to take me to the EFCC. I said, guys, you haven't even introduced yourselves. So they just brought out their badge and said, oh, they're EFCC. Show me arrest warrant. Oh, we don't need that, sir. Okay? Allow me to go upstairs, change. They blocked me. They didn't let me. Allow my wife to go upstairs and bring me some change of clothing. They refused. We went outside. As we went outside, their bus was waiting outside. The driver was sitting. The engine was running. And there were 5 armed mobile policemen, some deployed behind the house, thinking I would run. I'm not a runner. So we went in, and I was sandwiched between an armed Mopol and a young operative, and they were high-fiving themselves as if they had captured notorious Kachella Bello Turji. We went to the EFCC, went to the office of their boss, and he handed me a bunch of papers. What are these? These are your charges. Well, I don't need the charges if I don't have my lawyer here. Well, the guy was waiting to go home, and my battery had gone down, and I couldn't call my wife and to tell her where I was and how I was, and they wouldn't let me call her, and they just took me to the cells. Nobody had told me whether I was going to stay, why I was there, how long I was going to be there. They just took me around the building to the cells. Entered the cells. Well, a lot of them were youth. They recognized me from the previous brouhahas in Nigeria, and they came up to me wishing me good luck and best wishes. I had serious headache because remember I had fasted for over 14 hours by then. I hadn't eaten or drunk anything. They brought me a sachet of pure water and tea. I drank and went to sleep. And then the next morning, they took us to, they called my name out. We were going to court. We went into the bus. Well, when we came out of the building, they had placed their official photographer to be taking photographs of me without a hat, in jalabia, in flip-flop. That was when I realized these guys are up to no good. All they're interested is to demean me, dehumanize me, and weaken my spirit. They don't know who they're dealing with. We went into the bus, and I was jokingly telling them, guys, haven't you forgotten the chains and the manacles? They busted out laughing and said, oh, our guy, it hasn't reached to that. We went to court, and they were not ready. We had to come back to the EFCC again, and they upgraded me from 4 of us in the room to I alone in a cell. I was there in the EFCC for 6 days. After that, I was arraigned in court, and then the judge did not give me bail. Her reason was she had a cold. I was put back to Kuje. I was in Kuje for 24 days. Denial of bail 2. Anybody accused is wrong, because bail is a constitutionally guaranteed right of anybody accused, except if It was a capital offense, or the person is suspected of terrorism. Mine was neither of those. I was denied bail deliberately by this government to shake me up. And I was put in Kuje for 6 days and 24 days in EFCC for 6 days and 24 days in Kuje to shake me up and silence me. But no, I have no one to be silenced. In Kuje prison, I wrote my experiences and told this government that 6 days in Kuje and 24 days in 6 days in EFCC and 24 days in Kuje will not silence me. The whole purpose is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government trying to silence any dissent to his government. And this coming from a president who was an IDECO activist himself, who fought the military, who ran across the border and ran away from the military. And when he came back, he never gave neither Jonathan nor Obasanjo, not even Buhari, he never gave them peace. He was criticizing them. Criticizing the government in a democracy is a legitimate right of every citizen. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is trying to stifle dissent in this country and is trying to make this country a one-party.
Imagine how they would have traumatized this man and his family. Imagine how they would have traumatized. The corruption of EFCC has literally no limits. Now they are even partisan. So basically now anybody when Tinubu the best with or APC the best with, now EFCC they go pursue. Just take case study. Let's use Okowa own. A few days ago, you came to publish a news that Okowa, that Okowa stole 1 point something trillion naira. 1 point something trillion naira. That is 999 billion, 1 billion, then another 300 billion naira. Okowa carried it. All of a sudden, Okowa just not say don't join APC now. Let's bet it. That case will go down. So EFCC are now partisan. Corruption at the fullest. This same EFCC in this country, they know the whole politicians. You see, Dele, they don't hold politicians. They don't hold politicians. Now these small boys that they use, they take show everybody say that they work. They'll just go one place, carry students. The other day, the EFCC arrested 105 people. EFCC carry 35 boys. EFCC, all these people that you are arresting, they never do half of what politicians do. But yes, when they use that they feel blank like so on the work. Meanwhile, people are the most corrupt agency in the country. I seem like this, I gather all my evidence. I gather all of them. They never protest against FCC before. Now me, I did like this. So at the one stage, the biggest protest against you, people are corrupt. A lot of you are thieves. A lot of you are thieves, and a lot of you are being used as instruments of politicians to fight each other. There's nothing like economic and financial crime commission in this country. No integrity, nothing. Thieves. A lot of them be thieves. Thieves. Don't play.
Yeah, welcome to the Movement Radio. Thank you for listening to us. We continue to bring you entertaining and interesting and informative information regarding the state of your country, Nigeria, and your state of your mind. We're trying to make sheep and turn them to lions by being more informative on the level of impunity, the level of injustice, the level of decadence that has overtaken that country. We are on air 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days a week, every day since January 1st. We are the Movement Radio. Once in a while, we come on YouTube, Twitter, on the internet, do one program or the other, but we are always on air. We play music, we read books, we do informative and educative things that would enlighten the minds of Nigerians. We are here to inform, educate, enlighten, and revolutionize the minds of the people. Um, Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be listening to us. We still have a few more video clips for you, but before we do that, let's see if we can throw in a few entertainments in there so you can have a relaxed time before we get into much more. much more serious serious things. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your presence, and we will continue to do our best to make sure that we liberate that country from the shackles and bondage that it is in. And there's nothing else that can free a nation except the minds of the people. In the words of Martin Luther King, more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. There's nothing more dangerous in this world than those two factors. Trying to eradicate both two. We also want to attack some of our elite, so there's so much going on, so little stuff, let's see, conscientious stupidity, sincere ignorance,
Authority man not the big bucket, the petty cash and go the big. I'm rubber, him need gun. Authority man him need pen. Authority man in charge of money, him no need gun, him need pen. Then get power cannot get. It comes still 80,000 naira. Then goes still 2 billion naira. You know we hear them say, you know we hear them shout, say,
rubber.
Authority people, them good is still. Public country build plenty money. Now authority people they still. Authority man not the big bucket. The petty cash and go the big. I'm rubber, him need gun. Authority man he need pen. Authority man in charge of money. Him no need gun, he need pen. Then get back on your legs. It comes still 80,000 naira. Then it goes to 2 billion naira. You know go hear them say, thief, robber, thief, robber. God no get to, go hear them say, go hear them say out, thief, thief. Authority man he need pen. Arm robber he need gun. Go hear them shout. Authority man he need money. Gun get power no get. Go hear them say thief, thief. The country is gone. The moral compass of that country is totally upside down. Let's put in something not so political, very light, and it's kind of hard not to do something political. It's just,
and perfected over centuries. If you wanted to stop Africa from becoming a superpower, you wouldn't have to invent a new strategy. The blueprint has already been written, tested, and perfected over centuries. You'd start by making sure Africa never unites. The easiest way to do that is by keeping people divided along ethnic, tribal, and religious lines. If they ever start working together, remind them of past grievances. Stoke old wounds, fund separatist movements, keep border disputes unresolved. Make sure every time they take one step forward, they take 2 steps back because they're too busy fighting each other. You'd install leaders who serve foreign interests, not their people. Find the most corrupt, the most easily manipulated, the ones who crave wealth and status more than progress. Offer them power in exchange for loyalty. If a leader rises who actually cares about Africa, get rid of them. Assassinate them if necessary. But if that's too messy, just destabilize their government and back a coup. If they talk about nationalizing resources, make an example out of them. If they try to unite Africa, take them out before the idea spreads. You'd keep Africa economically weak by making sure it never industrializes. Let them export raw materials, but never process them themselves. Control the mines, the oil fields, the rare earth minerals. Keep them selling cheap and buying expensive. If a country tries to break free and build its own industries, sabotage it, place sanctions, destabilize its currency, fund local opposition, crash its economy. If that doesn't work, orchestrate a civil war. People can't build when they're too busy trying to survive. You'd make sure their education system produces workers, not innovators. Teach them history that glorifies their oppressors. Make them think their cultures are primitive. Their ancestors were savages. Their future depends on foreign approval. Train them to memorize, not to think critically. Keep their best and brightest looking overseas for opportunities. Make them dream of escaping Africa rather than fixing it. Offer scholarships that take their top minds to the West and never encourage them to return. Let the continent keep training doctors and engineers only for them to go enrich other nations. You'd control their narratives, own their media, control their stories, dictate their image to the world. Make them believe they are corrupt, hopeless, eternally in crisis. Flood their screens with poverty porn and war zones. Show them charity ads that make them believe they are helpless without foreign aid. Downplay their successes. Twist their victories into isolated incidents. If an African country develops a groundbreaking innovation, credit a foreign investor. If an African leader implements a successful policy, frame it as an anomaly rather than proof of competence. You'd make sure they remain dependent. Drown them in debt. Offer loans with impossible conditions. Force them to privatize everything so foreign corporations own their water, their electricity, their land. When they struggle, give them just enough aid to keep them alive, but never enough to make them self-sufficient. Use charities to create a culture of reliance rather than resilience. Make them think foreign intervention is necessary, that they can't solve their own problems, that they always need help from the outside. You'd suppress their military strength. Keep their armies weak, their defense industries non-existent. Sell them weapons to fight each other, but never let them develop high-tech military technology. If a country tries to build a strong defense system, accuse them of being a threat to stability. Make sure they always need foreign peacekeepers, foreign military bases, foreign advisors controlling their security. Keep them vulnerable to invasion, coups, and foreign interference. The formula is simple. Divide, corrupt, exploit, miseducate, control. Keep them fighting each other. Keep them looking outside for solutions. Keep them poor, dependent, insecure. Make sure every attempt to break free is met with resistance so strong that the next generation thinks twice before trying again. This isn't a theory, it's history. The real question isn't how to stop Africa from becoming a superpower, it's how Africa can break the cycle despite every effort to keep it down. If you wanted to stop Africa from becoming a superpower, you wouldn't have to invent a new strategy. The blueprint has already been written, tested, and perfected over centuries. You'd start by making sure Africa never unites. The easiest way to do that is by keeping people divided along ethnic, tribal, and religious lines. If they ever start working together, remind them of past grievances. Stoke old wounds, fund separatist movements, keep border disputes unresolved. Make sure every time they take one step forward, they take 2 steps back because they're too busy fighting each other. You'd install leaders who serve foreign interests, not their people. Find the most corrupt, the most easily manipulated, the ones who crave wealth and status more than progress. Offer them power in exchange for loyalty. If a leader rises who actually cares about Africa, get rid of them. Assassinate them if necessary. But if that's too messy, just destabilize their government and back a coup. If they talk about nationalizing resources, make an example out of them. If they try to unite Africa, take them out before the idea spreads. You'd keep Africa economically weak by making sure it never industrializes. Let them export raw materials, but never process them themselves. Control the mines, the oil fields, the rare earth minerals. Keep them selling cheap and buying expensive. If a country tries to break free and build its own industries, sabotage it. Place sanctions, destabilize its currency, fund local opposition, crash its economy. If that doesn't work, orchestrate a civil war. People can't build when they're too busy trying to survive. You'd make sure their education system produces workers, not innovators. Teach them history that glorifies their oppressors. Make them think their cultures are primitive, Their ancestors were savages. Their future depends on foreign approval. Train them to memorize, not to think critically. Keep their best and brightest looking overseas for opportunities. Make them dream of escaping Africa rather than fixing it. Offer scholarships that take their top minds to the West and never encourage them to return. Let the continent keep training doctors and engineers only for them to go enrich other nations. You'd control their narratives. Own their media. Control their stories. Dictate their image to the world. Make them believe they are corrupt, hopeless, eternally in crisis. Flood their screens with poverty porn and war zones. Show them charity ads that make them believe they are helpless without foreign aid. Downplay their successes. Twist their victories into isolated incidents. If an African country develops a groundbreaking innovation, credit a foreign investor. If an African leader implements a successful policy, frame it as an anomaly rather than proof of competence. You'd make sure they remain dependent. Drown them in debt. Offer loans with impossible conditions. Force them to privatize everything so foreign corporations own their water, their electricity, their land. When they struggle, give them just enough aid to keep them alive, but never enough to make them self-sufficient. Use charities to create a culture of reliance rather than resilience. Make them think foreign intervention is necessary, that they can't solve their own problems, that they always need help from the outside. You'd suppress their military strength. Keep their armies weak, their defense industries non-existent. Sell them weapons to fight each other, but never let them develop high-tech military technology. If a country tries to build a strong defense system, accuse them of being a threat to stability. Make sure they always need foreign peacekeepers, foreign military bases, foreign advisors controlling their security. Keep them vulnerable to invasion, coups, and foreign interference. The formula is simple. Divide, corrupt, exploit, miseducate, control. Keep them fighting each other. Keep them looking outside for solutions. Keep them poor, dependent, insecure. Make sure every attempt to break free is met with resistance so strong that the next generation thinks twice before trying again. This isn't a theory, it's history. The real question isn't how to stop Africa from becoming a superpower, it's how Africa can break the cycle despite every effort to keep it down.
Yeah, welcome to the Movement Radio. Thank you for joining us. This is the Movement Radio, the radio station that tries to sensitize the people and bring out the best of the African mind and liberate them from their bondage, which is the bad leadership and bad governance and corrupt leadership. In an attempt to strengthen and educate the people, we have started this radio station. We operate 24/7, every day, every week, every time. There's always a program running on our station. All you have to do is go to the Movement Radio. Just Google the Movement Radio and you will have a station right there to listen to enlighten the mind, educate the mind. We also give you good, interesting music. We give you educational books, things that are informative and dedicated to improving the quality of people's life. Things that build up the future generation so that they will be strong, stronger than the last generation, stronger than the wasted generation that destroyed the country, so that the next generation can liberate their people and they will not be dependent on the West. They can be strong and happy and strong and be able to liberate their people. So before we go on, we're going to do something a little bit lighter than what we've been doing. Take our minds off these, what fella would call these goddamn things, these goddamn places. Something a little bit much more relaxing. Let's go there.
That I'll be there for the highs and lows. Keep in mind if your heart is broke, by your side when you're all alone. I will be there. Know that I'll be there for the highs and lows. Keep you in mind if your heart is broke. By your side when you're all alone. I will be there. Know that I'll be there for the highs and lows. Keep you in mind if your heart is broke. By your side when you're all alone. I will be there. Know that I'll be there for the highs and lows. Keep you in mind if your heart is broke. By your side when you're all alone. I will be there.
I will be there.
Hi, I'm John Lithgow. I'm going to read you 20 Lessons on Tyranny by Timothy Snyder. You may have already heard these, but it's time you heard them again. Number 1, do not obey in advance. Most of the power of authoritarianism is freely given. In times like these, individuals think ahead about what a more repressive government will want and then offer themselves without being asked. The citizen who adapts in this way is teaching power what it can do. Number 2, defend institutions. It is institutions that help us to preserve decency. They need our help as well. Do not speak of our institutions unless you make them yours by acting on their behalf. Institutions do not protect themselves. They fall one after the other unless each is defended from the beginning. So choose an institution you care about, a court, a newspaper, a law, a labor union, and take its side. Number 3, beware the one-party state. The parties that remade states and suppressed rivals were not omnipotent from the start. They exploited a historical moment to make political life impossible for their opponents. So support the multi-party system and defend the rules of democratic elections. Vote in local and state elections while you can. Consider running for office. Number 4, take responsibility for the face of the world. The symbols of today enable the reality of tomorrow. Notice the swastikas and the other signs of hate. Do not look away and do not get used to them. Remove them yourself and set an example for others to do so. Number 5, remember professional ethics. When political leaders set a negative example, professional commitments to just practice become more important. It is hard to subvert a rule of law state without lawyers, or to hold show trials without judges. Authoritarians need obedient civil servants, and concentration camp directors seek businessmen interested in cheap labor. Number 6, beware of paramilitaries. When the men with guns who have always claimed to be against the system start wearing uniforms and marching with torches and pictures of a leader, the end is nigh. When the pro-leader paramilitary and the official police and military intermingle, the end has come. Number 7, be reflective if you must be armed. If you carry a weapon in public, may God bless you and keep you. but know that evils of the past involved policemen and soldiers finding themselves one day doing irregular things. Be ready to say no. Number 8, stand out. Someone has to. It is easy to follow along. It can feel strange to do or say something different, but without that unease, there is no freedom. Remember Rosa Parks. The moment you set an example, the spell of the status quo is broken, and others will follow. Number 9, be kind to our language. Avoid pronouncing the phrases everyone else does. Think up your own way of speaking, even if only to convey that thing that you think everyone is saying. Make an effort to separate yourself from the internet. Read books. Number 10, believe in truth. To abandon facts is to abandon freedom. If nothing is true, then no one can criticize power, because there is no basis upon which to do so. If nothing is true, then all is spectacle. The biggest wallet pays for the most blinding lights. Number 11, investigate. Figure things out for yourself. Spend more time with long articles. Subsidize investigative journalism by subscribing to print media. Realize that some of what is on the internet is there to harm you. Learn about sites that investigate propaganda campaigns, some of which come from abroad. Take responsibility for what you communicate with others. Number 12, make eye contact and small talk. This is not just polite. It is part of being a citizen and a responsible member of society. It is also a way to stay in touch with your surroundings, break down social barriers, and understand whom you should and should not trust. If we enter a culture of denunciation, you will want to know the psychological landscape of your daily life. Number 13, practice corporeal politics. Power wants your body softening in your chair and your emotions dissipating on the screen. Get outside. Put your body in unfamiliar places with unfamiliar people. Make new friends and march with them. Number 14, establish a private life. Nastier rulers will use what they know about you to push you around. Scrub your computer of malware on a regular basis. Remember that email is skywriting. Consider using alternative forms of the internet or simply using it less. Have personal exchanges in person. For the same reason, resolve any legal trouble. Tyrants seek the hook on which to hang you. Try not to have hooks. Number 15, contribute to good causes. Be active in organizations, political or not, that express your own view of life. Pick a charity or two and set up auto pay. Then you will have made a free choice that supports civil society and helps others to do good. Number 16, learn from peers in other countries. Keep up your friendships abroad or make new friends in other countries. The present difficulties in the United States are an element of a larger trend, and no country is going to find a solution by itself. Make sure you and your family have passports. 17, listen for dangerous words. Be alert to the use of the words extremism and terrorism. Be alive to the fatal notions of emergency and exception. Be angry about the treacherous use of patriotic vocabulary. Number 18, be calm when the unthinkable arrives. Modern tyranny is terror management. When the terrorist attack comes, remember that authoritarians exploit such events in order to consolidate power. The sudden disaster that requires the end of checks and balances, the dissolution of opposition parties, the suspension of freedom of expression, the right to a fair trial, and so on, is the oldest trick in the Hitlerian book. Do not fall for it. Number 19, be a patriot. Set a good example of what America means for the generations to come. They will need it. Number 20, be as courageous as you can. If none of us is prepared to die for freedom, then all of us will die under tyranny.
Yeah, welcome again to the Movement Radio. This is the Movement Radio, the radio station dedicated to enlightening the minds of the African so that they can free themselves from the bondage of slavery that is being imposed upon them by their fellow brothers. We are here to enlighten the mind, revolutionize the mind, and make sure that the people will know the truth and be able to stand up for themselves. This is the Movement Radio. We're running 24/7 on the internet on themovementradio.com. 24/7, you can reach us, you can listen, you can be educated, you can be enlightened, you can be encouraged, you can be empowered. This is our objective, and this is why we're doing this. We often believe that Nigeria as a nation cannot continue like this, and there is a need to start to educate the people on the need for them to educate and liberate themselves from the bondage of hardship. So every day there's always terrible and horrible news coming out of the country called Nigeria. And we are here to help Nigerians realize that they can do something about their own destiny. They don't have to wait for the people of the Western world to come help them or save them from this tyranny that is being imposed upon them. They can begin to break the yoke of this bondage themselves. All they have to do is build up a little courage. So we want to take a little light note again before we get on to the serious issues again. We'll listen to something a little bit lighter than all this political thing. We want to go to the underground spiritual game. Okay, so let's see what we got.
But I'ma keep on saying, come on. They don't like it, but I'ma keep on saying, shit. They don't like it, but I'ma keep on saying, oh. 1, 2, 3. Now step, they turn. Come on. Now step, they turn. Come on. Now step, they turn. Now step, they turn. Oh. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Gonna start right here. 1, 2, 3. Do my ladies run this party hard? Do my ladies run this party hard? Down in the country, we gon' party hard. Down in the country. And then go. They don't like it, but I'ma keep on saying. Come on. They don't like it, but I'ma keep on saying. Shit. They don't like it, but I'ma keep on saying. Oh. 1, 2, 3. Now step, then step, then turn. Come on. Now step, then step, then turn. Come on. Now step, then step, then turn. Now step, then step, then turn. Oh. 1, 2, 3. Oh. We're gonna start right here. 1, 2, 3. Do my ladies run this party hard? Do my ladies run this party hard? Down in the country, we gon' party hard. Down in the country. Yeah, this is the Movement Radio. And we'll talk, we're putting a little something on the light notes there. Yeah, welcome to the Movement Radio, a station where we're trying to empower the minds of the African. We're almost running out of time. We have less 2 hours scheduled time, and that time is gradually running out now. But let's give you another short light stuff too before we go on. Like we said, we're running 24/7 on the internet. The Movement Radio, the Movement Radio. That's the radio station dedicated to empowering the minds of the Africans. We're running 24/7, the Movement Radio. Check us out. Listen to good vibes, good music, and most importantly, we want to liberate your political mind if you're a Nigerian. This is what we stand for. Okay. Yeah. Welcome to the Movement. Oh yeah. Yes, welcome to the Movement Radio. We're gonna start right here. 1, 2, 3. Do my ladies run this party hard? Yeah. Do my ladies run this party hard? Down in the country, they gon' pop. Welcome to the Movement Radio. The Movement Radio. Yeah, we still have one more video before we run out our day, and that will be coming from Dele's Farotimi's sermon about the lies that we tell ourselves as a nation, as a people. How we don't tell each other the truth. You know, it's 8:40. We're running out of time. We might not have the whole time to do all the stuff we want to do. We might have to. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Step, then step, then turn. Come on. Now step, then step, then turn. Now step, then step, then turn. Oh. 1, 2, 3. Oh. We're gonna start right here. 1, 2, 3. Do my ladies run this party hard? Do my ladies run this party hard? Down in the country, we gon' party hard. Down in the country. out, but I'ma keep on stepping. Shit, they don't like it out, but I'ma keep on stepping. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Now step and step and turn. Come on. Now step and step and turn. Come on. Now step and step and turn. Now step and step and turn. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Oh, we're gonna start right here. 1, 2, 3. Do my ladies run this party on? Do my ladies run this party on? Down in the country, we gon' party on. Down in the country. And that's low. They don't like it, but I'ma keep on saying. Come on. They don't like it, but I'ma keep on saying. Shit. They don't like it, but I'ma keep on saying. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Now step and step and turn. Come on. Now step and step and turn. Come on. Now step and step and turn. Now step and step and turn. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Oh, we're gonna start right here. 1, 2, 3. Do my ladies run this party on? Do my ladies run this party on? Down in the country, we gon' party on. Down in the country. Yeah. Okay, we want to take you listen to some inspirational voice now. We'll take you to our man Dele.
The full effect of weaponized poverty, even what should pass for the middle class, which has been rendered completely existential. We have carried on debates at variance with reality. So there is a great degree of linguistic inexactitude that governs our reasoning. We talk about democracy as though we were living in one. We speak to the rule of law as though our country was governed by laws. And then we delude ourselves and we say we are citizens when we know that we really aren't. And then we even take it further. We say we are a nation when we know that we are anything but. We are even hardly a country. And as it is, we are a failing state. So it has fallen on some of us to take it upon ourselves to remind those who are still conscious enough of what the truths are, and to ensure that a record is kept, even though it may be for a generation that will come later on, to understand how we got to and where we would be getting to pretty quickly if we do not do something radical about our situation. Yorubas have a proverb. They say, Biomo baton dodoni ba roba. They say if a child does not know the history, at least somebody must be able to tell him of the legends. I was born 57 years ago. I have seen enough of life, lived enough of it to be able to draw conclusions, truthful ones, based on the experience of exactly where we are headed. I'm so alarmed by where I see us headed that when I looked at everything and I saw that what we have become is the sum of the lies that we have told ourselves as a people. Nigeria was battered in lies. At its very foundation, were lies. Slave traders, people who saw us as subhumans, they founded this country. It was just a colonial enterprise. There was nothing about the interest of the people trapped within its territory informing its birth. It was battered as a British idea, sold as an illusion to a people who ignored a lot of things they should have been alarmed by. But these were lies that had been around for a season. And those who had good intentions, even at the birth, were aware of these lies, the rather distinct characters of the nations that were trapped within the territory. The feudal North, the Republican Igbos, the Yorubas, who are a mishmash of different nations before we were blessed with leaders who had nationalist views and who coupled us together. These were the three tripods on which Nigeria was built. Oh yeah, in spite of all of these failings, in spite of everything that was wrong, why it shouldn't even have ever come together, reasonable men and women who had to take decisions in time when it was needed to be taken, right there and then. Reasonable men and women. The West, led by Obafemi Awolowo. The North, led by Ahmadu Bello. The East, led by Nnamdi Azikiwe. They all came together talking about the early 50s. There are a series of conferences. Azikiwe was insistent on unitary system, basis for Nigerian unity. Of the sort. Wanted Nigeria broken up. Everybody. The Western region had its embassy in Britain. The Northern region had one because it was more important to it. On the way to Saudi Arabia, and there were so many cultural exchanges between Khartoum and Kano. So of course, it prioritized the embassy in Sudan, like the southern regions, both the east and the west, prioritized relationship with the west, as it was agreed. Each person flowed as they prioritized. And there was healthy competition. Federalism was the glue that held Nigeria together. Without the glue of federalism that allows each union, each segment of the union to run as it should, there was no way Nigeria was ever going to happen. Azikiwe would never have agreed to it. Ahmadu Bello would never have agreed without federalism, and certainly Obafemi Awolowo would not have accepted it. The minorities accepted it grudgingly. They were still complaining. That was why the Willings Commission was set up. I am telling you all of these so that you can understand just exactly how far we are from where we started out, and just exactly why I spoke to the subject, the sum of its lies. That is the most important part of everything that you see in the caption, the sum of his lies. Federalism was the foundation of Nigeria, and without it, Nigeria will die. When you start talking true federalism, the lie has already entered. There is nothing called true federalism. Federalism is federalism. When you don't have federalism, you don't have federalism. The basis of Nigeria is federalism. Let each region develop according to his own priorities, his own culture. Nobody was meant to lord it over the other. Nobody would ever have agreed. I'm a Yoruba man. A Yoruba man is supposedly in power. Almost every minister is a Yoruba man. Interestingly, a few of them I know. And I'm supposed to be joyous. But all I see is putrefaction. I see, you know, when they say the ripest fruit is the saddest, I believe that's Clark. Whoever, whether it was Clark or Wole Soyinka, one of them used that idiom. I'm sure it came directly from, in fact, the Yoruba proverb says, "Ogede nbaje alonpon." It can translate literally. In fact, it's a column. And you already know that a lot more will be following suit in days to come. Now, whilst other candidates were busy trying to buy delegates, Tinubu buying godfathers, governors, the fathers of the delegates. Those were the persons Tinubu was buying. Don't imagine that Tinubu is buying sitting governors. He's not. He is buying their godfathers, the persons who kept them there. And the ones he can't buy, is intimidating into aligning. So what you're saying are the alignments of the politicians, whether forced or voluntary, whether based on real politics or whatever. The important thing that you should pay attention to is that the politicians are aligning. They are arraying a Tinubu that will not lose an election, quote and unquote, whilst out of office, running almost against the incumbent, is now in power. There's a difference between being in office and being in power. He is now in power, and the articles of this world are busy thinking that they can contest against him. Illusions. The people are the ones who need to be aligning. Without an alignment of the people, what you would have is that the election result will be announced ahead of time, and you can be certain that the judiciary will endorse it. Akpabio is sat in the Senate as the Senate president today because your constitution, pardon my French, is crap. Your judiciary, unfit for purpose. That is the only reason he sat there. Ditto for your president. So if you are expecting something to happen because politicians are squabbling over who won or did not win an election, you're wasting your time. So if you're waiting for an election to save Nigeria, you've lost already. Let me just announce that. The only thing that can save us is a revolution. Did you hear me? Only a revolution can save Nigeria. Because the sum of his lies is that Nigeria has become a place that is unconducive for human existence. It's become hostile. If you sustain the current system, Nigeria will erupt in a civil war. It's already in one. The only problem is that the lines are not defined. But if it continues on its current trajectory, Nigeria will implode. People are dying in the Benue Trough, murdered like dogs. In fact, with less care than you would for dogs. But the governor of the state, who is divorced from the people because he knows his people do not matter, Abuja matters, is more interested in the autopsy than in the identification of persons as young as days old being buried in mass graves. That is the governor, a member of the ethnic nationality, being killed in their sleep, misdescribed and mischaracterized as farmers' others clashes. He knows that this is not the truth, but he would rather remain in power than tell the truth to power. Oh, did I say in power? No, it's too important to be described as being in power. He would rather remain in office than to assert the power of his people against the unconscionable powers that would dare to crow in daytime about the murder of his people and mischaracterize it as farmers' elders clash. Or what does one have to say, really? When a reverend father, the Catholic Church should really be ashamed of that thing that they have in Benue State, will be playing politics with IDP camps, will rather be silent about the murder of his people, and is busy issuing visa bans. Like, seriously? The sum of Nigeria's lies is that we are getting to the point where these lies, in fact, beyond an implosion, really, if you really think about it, was it not just the other day that the governor of Niger State came out and banned dreadlocks? So I couldn't have gone to Niger State in 2020, 2021 because I had dreadlocks. I'd probably have been whooped, especially since I talk so much. Talkers are now terrorists, and the terrorists can be made repentant. It's the talkers who never get to repent. Terrorists are always repentant. Yeah. Which brings me to that one. Okay, so Nigeria has this extremely radicalization program. It de-radicalizes terrorists, Islamist terrorists, Fulani marauders, killers. It de-radicalizes them so quickly that I wonder if the whole thingy about Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, what would them, or by contriving a legal entrapment. The word revolution comes from the French word revolver, and it means to turn around. If Nigeria does not turn around, it will implode. A turnaround is a return at a minimum, if it is still possible to save Nigeria, even with that. At a minimum, there has to be a return to federalism. I'm not going to fall into the trap of using that your lie that you call true federalism. There has to be a return to federalism. The totality of my involvement in the public space must be cleared up, because yesterday I was at the Obedient rally, the Southwest rally in Ikeja GRA, and I made clear to everyone, I'm not about an election in 2027. I'm about change today. I'm about making sure that if there will be an election in 2027, it is found on the principle of my vote counting, not an INEC that remains as it is not going to happen. And even that might not be enough to save Nigeria. The kind of revolution I'm looking for is non-violent. I'm not saying the state will not be violent, but I'm not calling for violence. The kind of revolution involves sit-at-homes. It will involve boycotts, but it must be an insistence that Nigeria turn around. That is the kind of revolution I'm willing to sign on for. And that is the kind of revolution that I will be calling for. But I would prefer that that revolution be through the electoral process. And if the electoral process is thwarted, we'll be ready to take to the streets or sit in our homes. But I am not ready to get involved in an electoral process that does not spell out what the following day will look like, because it cannot be business as usual. The electoral process, I'm willing to one that shows the people clearly if we won election the day we are sworn in, these are the legislations for restructuring. These are the policy for education.